Swadee krap and welcome to Thailand News Today. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Now we've got a slightly stripped back version of the program today without any fancy graphics. Long story, I'll get to it some other time. In the meantime, let's get stuck into today's main news stories. Police turned the water cannons on protesters again last night as they symbolically marched to the Grand Palace to deliver handwritten messages to the Thai King. The local media says there were some 10 to 12,000 protesters involved. The police say it was more like 7,000. Police used high-power water cannons for only the second time after months of mostly peaceful protests to demand greater democracy. This time the cannons appeared to use just water after lacing the water with blue dye when last used at the Pathumwan Intersection in central Bangkok on October the 16th. After police had earlier blockaded access to the Royal Plaza and Government House, protesters decided to march to Sanam Luang, adjacent to the Grand Palace. Apart from the deterrent of the water cannons, only used for about 2 minutes, police left the protesters to dismantle other barricades in front of the Supreme Court building, where they pushed away old red buses, passenger vans and razor wire to deliver their letters. The protesters brought large faux red letterboxes, actually large red plastic rubbish bins, filled with handwritten letters for the King and left them near the palace after negotiations with the police. A small protest gathering last night at Jomtien Beach in Pattaya turned ugly when one of the protesters assaulted a 52-year-old Russian man in the presence of his 10-year-old daughter and his Thai wife. The tall Thai man in the floral shirt, named as Naratawat, became agitated and started yelling obscenities at the man, challenging him directly with a tirade of expletives. The verbal assault culminated with a headbutt to the smaller Russian man. Although the Russian man's nose started bleeding, it appears he held his ground, signing to the other people in the crowd that he was okay. He waited with his daughter until police arrived. We chose not to show the actual assault. You can see that if you want to with the full footage at thetiger.com. Quarantine whilst wandering around a golf course practicing your swings. That's the latest proposal to be put to the CCSA this Wednesday. It's an extension of the special tourist visa involving quarantine at golf courses. A proposal to reduce the current mandated 14-day quarantine to 10 days will also be under discussion. There's been no applications for Thailand's much-discussed STV since the start of November. There are around 30 golf courses around Thailand offering about 5,000 rooms that could be suitable as golf ASQ facilities. The tourism minister said there was high demand from foreign golfers, particularly from South Korea, Japan, China and Taiwan, expressing their desire to visit Thailand and to practice their swings. 5 people have been injured, 3 seriously, after a boat caught fire at a Phang Nga pier yesterday. The incident happened around 8:30 in the morning. The boat was tied up to the Taplamu boat pier, where most Similan Island-bound private tour boats depart from and return to. The injured were all crew from the boat. A Navy boat dragged the burning vessel away from the pier into the middle of the channel to prevent the fire from spreading to other boats moored at the pier. Witnesses say the engine stuttered, then exploded, just after the skipper tried to start it. Although travel restrictions are still very tight if you want to come to Thailand, investors say there's great potential in the Pattaya hotel market at the moment. Jones Lang LaSalle say the amount of investors interested in Pattaya hotels is at an unprecedented level. The Executive Vice President of Investment Sales says, "In recent months we've been getting an unprecedented level of inquiries from investors who are looking for opportunities to acquire investment-grade hotels in Pattaya. We're yet to see a wide trend of deeply discounted hotels in the market, particularly institutional-grade assets. However, the situation is delicate and the landscape could potentially shift swiftly." And a man and a 15-month-old child have died in a collision between a 10-wheeler truck and a motorbike in Nakhon Ratchasima. The 55-year-old truck driver says he was travelling on the Nakhon Ratchasima to Kokchai road when he was forced to swerve to avoid a car that had pulled out in front of him. In attempting to avoid the car, he hit the motorbike, which was carrying 3 people, whilst waiting to perform a U-turn. If you'd like to find out all the latest information about the STV, or indeed all the latest news from around Thailand, please go to thethaiger.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel here, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.